What's up, you guys? Finally had my hair done. Oh my god, I have not had my hair done forever. It's probably been like, I don't know, around 2-3 months before like I actually did my makeup and my hair. So anyways, I'm here. I'm gonna tell you guys another story. Okay, this is a story that happened when I was in elementary. I don't remember exactly. I think I was in third or fourth. It was like third or fourth grade, I think. I don't remember exactly like what grade it was, but I remember the story and I remember what happened. But it was based in elementary. So, anyways, we still do not know to this day and will never find out who it was exactly who did it. And but it was someone that worked at my school. It had to be. Okay, I can't say for positive, but it had to be someone that worked at the school, and he had to live by me somewhere. And so all of a sudden, so okay, first I walked to school back and forth. My mom made us walk to school back and forth. We had to walk like 3 blocks to get to our school. Elementary, we call. We had to walk to the school by ourselves. And it's me and my twin and my sister had to walk to the school. So anyways, all of a sudden this guy, like every day that I came home from school, so the house that we lived in, literally we walked in and our phone was like right there on the wall. And every day when I came home from school, I would get this phone call. And it was just for me. Like if my brother answered or my sister answered, he would basically ask for me. Like, and so, and he would call from block, of course, every time. So we couldn't ever get the number where he called from. So anyways, I'll walk in, when I came home from school, I'll walk home, and then I'll get in the house. Right when I get in the house, not even 2 seconds later, the phone will ring. And I'll answer it, and it was him. And it was an older guy. I mean, I still literally, like, remember his voice, like, in my ear. It was, because it was so scary and creepy. So anyways, I'll answer the phone, and I'm like, hello? And this went on for about 4 months before the cops got involved. And it's the only reason why it went on for so long is because my mom would not believe me. Because in her head, I was a little kid, I was in elementary, so I didn't know nothing, I was oversaturated, blah blah blah. So she didn't believe me for the longest time, until about 4 months, I finally convinced her to listen to the conversation, and she finally heard the conversation and believed me, obviously, because she heard the conversation. Ugh. So anyways, every time I get home, I'll pick up the phone and I'm like, who is this? And he was like, and of course, it was like, it was Nightmare. You know, it's like, I'll never tell you. Like, of course, he never told me his name or anything about him. You know, every time I ask him, he'll be like, oh, it's the Ghostbuster, or you was Nightmare, or you was Enemy, or, you know, whatever. There's something stupid. So, we'll be on the phone. I mean, I don't, like, that's one thing I don't remember. I don't remember exactly, like, how long the conversations went. All I remember is what he said. And it was really scary. And every day, literally, and not one day that went by without him calling. And every day, he would call, and then all of a sudden the conversation would go on. And I'm like, what do you want? Like, why do you keep on calling me? And he kept on saying perverted stuff. And I remember, like, everything that he said, and a couple of stuff that he said. I'm not going to say everything that he said because it was really, really perverted. But everything that he said was sexual and perverted, and basically he would say stuff like, I jack off and think about you every night. I hug my pillow and make out with my pillow and think about you every night. And according to him, he had pictures of me that he would jack off to. Like, it was disgusting. It was, like I said, I'm not going to say everything that he said because it was pretty bad. But he would say sexual comments to me all the time. Like I said, you know, we call, you know, remember, I'm in elementary. I am a 8-9-year-old, you know, and this guy sounded like he was in his 50s, 60s, you know, whatever, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. So, you know, this old guy, I mean, he's not old, but, like, obviously to a little 8-9-year-old, he's old. So, I mean, this older guy is saying nasty sexual comments like this to me every time. And he would tell me, and then like I asked him, I'm like, what's my name? He would literally tell me my full name. He would tell me my twins' name. He knew my twins' name. He knew my sister's name. He knew my birthday. He knew my social. He knew where I lived, because like we lived down an alley, and we always walked down the alley to get to our school. And then when we came back, we walked through the alley to get home. And we didn't have to, like we could have went around, but basically to go down the alley, it was quicker to go home. So we just went down the alley. Me and my twin built a fort in that alley, and he knew that for some reason. Like, it was like weird. But he knew that we built that alley, that fort down the alley. And so, like, at school, this is why we know for sure it was someone that worked at the school. Because for one, and then he had an address where we lived. He knew where we lived. I mean, all this information that he had to get it obviously through some document at school. You know, we'll guess, and I'm pretty sure it was a janitor at the school, something like that. So anyways, every day he would literally tell me on the phone, because I'd be like, what was I wearing? Because I want to, you know, see, you know, if he was stalking me or whatever. So I remember asking him, like, every day, what was I wearing? And then he would literally tell me from head to toe if my hair was down, if it was braided, you know, what color shirt I had on. I mean, it was scary. Like, he literally told me from head to toe what I had on, what kind of shoes I had on, if I had on earrings that day, if I didn't. Like, it was creepy. And then he'll be like, I saw you in the cafeteria at this time. I saw you going to the bathroom at this time. So, I mean, obviously there's someone that worked at my school, and we're assuming the only people it could have been was a janitor. I don't know. Or some teacher that was stalking me. Obviously it was stalking me. So all of a sudden, after about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that, I started going home at different times. You know, to see if he was really stalking me or whatever. So I started going home at different times. So sometimes I stay up to school, and then I'll walk home like 2 hours later. I'll go to a friend's house and then go home, you know, whatever, to see if, you know, if he was actually stalking me, to see when I was going to go home. So I started going home at different times to see if that would change anything. It did not. He literally, you know, it didn't matter if I went home 2 hours later, if I went home 3 hours later, it did not matter. He literally, every time I walked in that door, that phone would ring, and it was him. No matter what time I walked in that door. If I did not go home that night, if I stayed at a friend's house and came home the next day, my mom and, you know, basically my family told me that he never called that day. So basically, no matter what time I was home, when I was home, he knew it. So obviously by then we assumed it was someone that lived by us, obviously next door, across the street, whatever, someone that lived by us, and he knew when I was home. And then what was really scary about that is that I actually had in that same house, after all this stuff started happening, after all this guy and stuff started calling me and all this started happening, I actually had a peeping Tom. I don't know if anyone knows what peeping Tom is, but I actually had a peeping Tom in that house. And the peeping Tom started a little bit before this guy kept on calling me over and over, and he kept on going after the guy kept on calling me over and over. And we assumed it was him, because every time I said something, my brother didn't see it, my sister didn't see it, no one saw it, and I was like the only one that seen the peeping Tom. And most of the time majority of the time it happened when I was home alone, because we were home alone a lot. So majority of the time it happened when I was home alone, and it was scary. And so anyways, this was going on for about 4 months. He was calling me every day when I came home from school. And you know how when you have that feeling someone's following you? Obviously I had that feeling almost basically every day walking home, but I still walked home, and thank God, obviously, whoever this guy was, obviously I probably seen him face to face, but I don't know, because we never found out who this guy was personally. But I'm just glad that obviously whoever this guy was actually never took me or kidnapped me or whatever. I'm pretty sure it kept on going on and on. Sooner or later he probably would have. But in those 4 months, thank God that he never kidnapped me. And so he was calling me every day, telling me exactly what I wore every day, telling me basically what I did at school the whole day. And he was telling me how he knew that I walked down the alley every day to get home. And he there's like everything. I mean, and then there's the sexual comments. I mean, that's something that stuck to my head the most. Obviously, was all the sexual comments he was saying. I mean, this is a fucking 9-year-old and a 50 whatever how old he was basically, was telling me that, he took pictures of me and he masturbated to me and he thought of me. Okay. So, I mean, and then, I think about I basically make out my pillow thinking about you. Like, all these sexual comments, like I said, there was a lot more deeper comments than that, but like I said, I'm not going to get into and say what the other comments were because obviously it's a YouTube, so I don't want to go too far deep in. And, so this was going on for about 4 months, and I kept on telling my mom, hey, this guy keeps on calling me every time I walk in the door. I think he's following me. He knows when I come in the side, and, he's stalking me, blah, blah, blah. Well, she wouldn't believe me, of course. She's like, well, Carol, he's oversaturated, you're a little kid, you don't know better. You don't even know what he's telling you, what that means. And at 8, 9, you shouldn't know what that stuff meant, but I did. And, I was like, no, Mom, I'm serious. I'm not oversaturating. This is what he's doing. Like, he's stalking me at school. Like, I mean, the only way he's gonna know what I wear every day and how my hair is done and this and that is if he's stalking me at school. So basically, she wouldn't meet me for the longest time. So about 4 months, I finally convinced her. I was like, Mom, just listen to the conversation. Just listen at least one time, so I'm not lying, making shit up. So she finally listened. About 4 months later, she finally listened to the conversation. And she gets off basically we hang the phone up. And she's like, oh my God, Kim, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. You're not oversaturated. He's saying what he's saying what you're telling me. He keeps on saying all this sexual comments to you. You're not oversaturated. Basically she whatever. She believed me afterwards. And I was like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, this has been going on for too long. This has been going on for almost 4 months now. And, I have to walk to school every day worrying about if I'm going to come home or not. So she finally called the cops. And also kept on calling from a blocked number. So basically the cops got involved and the cops listened to one of the conversations because they had to track his number and his address down. So basically they had to join in the conversation, and also he did not know the cops were on the phone. And so the cops joined in the conversation, and then they got his address and his number and all that. So basically the conversation ended, and the cops told me that don't worry, you'll never hear from him again. We got his address, we got his number, we know where he is. And I'm like, okay. I was like, are you guys gonna call me back to let me know what's going on? Like, if you got arrested or what? And we never heard from the cops again. We didn't know exactly what happened to him. Also, we'll never know. We didn't know if he got arrested. We didn't know if he got a warning. We don't know. But the thing is, that was the last time I heard from him. The last day that the cops got involved, the cops did whatever, and that's the last time I heard from him. So, and my mom still made me walk to school back and forth, even though more likely got arrested, but again, like I said, we don't know exactly what happened after that. So, I mean, my mom still made us walk to school back and forth, and thank God, again, I never got kidnapped. Hopefully the cops arrested him, whatever, because the cops did hear the conversation, so the cops did hear exactly what he was telling me and what he said to me. So hopefully the cops did arrest him. But I'll never forget that story. I might have been a little kid, but it was one of the scariest things I went through. And yeah, it's, I'll never forget that. It's a story that you cannot forget, and you cannot get out of your mind. It's scary, and there's a lot of perverted, sick people out there, and it's sad that, there's sick people in this world like that. But I love you guys. If you guys want to hear more stories, let me know. Love you. Bye.